Is he now in charge of your social, and he can tell you who he wants you to follow and who he doesn't? Because it's not okay for you to just say, well, unfollow all the pretty chicks on your social. Well, what if he comes at you and he's like, well, unfollow every male on your social?
She's a relationship expert, a matchmaker, a life transformer, and adds a spicy touch wherever she goes. Please welcome Spicy Maddie.
Welcome.
Oh my
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
I know, tell us everything that you do. There's a couple things that you do. Tell us about yourself.
Oh my gosh, so when I was born, I am a relationship coach and a expert at that and a professional matchmaker. And so the reason why it's transformative is because it's not just the setting you up and matching you. I actually take you through like a 90-day 5-step program based on SPICY. So everybody thinks that like spicy is because I'm Latina and I'm like, you know, fiery.
Which you are spicy.
And I am spicy. But spicy actually stands for self-passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes. So it's an acronym, and that's what my program is about. Those are the 5 steps that I take you through so that you can improve in your social skills and how you connect with people. And you can be better at dating and then better at flirting and better at seducing and attracting your purpose mate.
Which is our power.
Modern day hitch.
I actually just signed up. It's funny that you're here. I actually just signed up for a professional matchmaker because I cannot Tinder, Bumble. If you have that much time to swipe, I don't want a guy like that. I want a guy with a real job that has no time to date for that, but is looking for something serious. And in Los Angeles, it's so hard to date in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So how does like your matchmaking, how long have you been doing that specifically?
Since I was little. I was joking at first about like, oh, when I was born, but I really was a little girl matchmaking. My mom was married. Yes, my mom was married 3 times because of me when we were little. Or I was little, I realized that she was happier when she was in a relationship. And so I started going up to men and like, you know, my mom, she's amazing. I'll be a good little girl. Like I was pitching us back then that young. Yeah.
I love it.
But it's something that I was passionate about. And then the older that I got, the more that I realized that some of the self-worth was wrapped around the relationship, which it should not be.
For sure.
And that's where the coaching came into place. And I'm like, okay, it's not enough for me to just set people up. I actually need to coach them and help them with self-love in order to improve on their ability to connect. Because, you know, we bring our baggage into the relationship and you want to be accepted completely for who you are. But at the same time, there's always room for self-growth.
Yes.
And so you should always be in personal development. Even when you get in a relationship, you guys should be in relationship development.
So you believe in loving your first before loving somebody else?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because when the person stops loving you, then what? Right? But you still love you, so you're good. Like that's how you move on and he'll move on to the next.
To the next one.
No, and that's what happened with me with my divorce. I realized I didn't love myself and I just put him first. And then when he stopped loving, you know, in a sense, well, I also flawed. There was things that I did too, but you start to realize if you don't love yourself and they don't love you, you really put yourself in a dark place. And I realized, I mean, just with Latina culture, you know, my mom was like my dad's basically slave. You know, back in the generations, if the man cheated, it was like, oh, honey. It's like, now it's like, no, I don't want to deal with that. You know, we're kind of evolving as women. And it's amazing you're Latina too, which I maybe gotta call you girl.
Afro-Latina.
Because you also understand.
I'm Black and Mexican.
And because you understand the background of Latinas and like, it's gonna be different than somebody else that grew up probably different than me. It's like, we have a lot of stuff with like the self-worth, you know, we weren't allowed to use our voice, you know, and that's, I think that that's so detrimental to most women now. Cause then now that I use my voice, men sometimes get intimidated by it, but I think that the right guy will allow me to use my voice. I just haven't found that man yet.
How are you monitoring that? How are you judging if it's the right guy? Because if you had met it before, you would be with the right guy. So what does that look like for you?
Well, I monitor, number one, if they're asking me to shoot videos with them right away, I'm like, you just want to be
like,
my online boyfriend.
Bye.
And a lot of them, if they try to pressure me, I don't like to be pressured into sex. Don't get me wrong, I love sex when we get there.
Do you?
You know, I'm very physically active, you know?
Fellas, are you listening?
Yeah, right? But the way I monitor it is if they make me feel safe. And that's what I haven't found that yet.
What would be like red flags in like dating? I mean, I'm not dating, but you know.
A red flag would be if the person doesn't believe in commitment and they're trying to justify why they just want to keep you in the friend zone or friends with benefits.
Yes.
If there's someone, and you can ask like, when, you know, was your last relationship, or what do you believe in commitment? What's your definition of a commitment? If they don't have a definition and they don't explain themselves as, oh, you know, it's something that I definitely am looking forward to. These are the steps that I'm taking to get there. Then you know, okay, this is not one of your core values. I need to kind of remove myself from this situation because if commitment isn't one of your values and it's one of mine, we're now dating with two different values and I can't convince or change your values. I'm not enough, right?
Even cheating, you know, I think the same definition for cheating needs to be the same, because I've been with people that think pornography is okay. For me, that's considered cheating. But not everybody feels like that, and that's okay. You don't have to put every single woman in a box. It's not good and it's not bad, I don't think, at least. I just personally don't.
Can they watch it if you're in it? Like if they make the video with you guys together?
Well, yes, in the past I would say yes, but because now I'm online and there's hackers, I'm too afraid of While we get to play and have fun, we also get to learn some dating tips. And you know I need them. So, red flags.
Okay.
He follows a lot of bikini models on IG.
Oh.
Thank you. We all agree on that one, right?
Definitely a red flag.
Yes.
How about he blames his ex for everything that went wrong in the relationship?
Oh my God, for sure, red
Right?
flag.
Okay, good. We're all on the same
We're on
page
the
so
same
far. Okay. How about this one? He has a lot of female friends. For me, it's this one, but I know some people don't mind. Yeah.
That
Right?
means that he's able to have relationships with women.
Yes.
As long as they're
True.
respectful and introduces
Well,
you.
a lot, you mean like a lot, like.
I mean, I don't know a lot. I had a
You're
pastor
married
tell me
and
this in the
mostly-
past, that it's just an ingredients for a disaster. Because then somebody else can see you guys out at lunch, and then they could start to plant seeds like, oh, I saw so and so. You know, Latinos were so chismosas.
That depends on
So
where
like, I
you're
think it
going
starts to
around.
plant seeds, but if you have a solid trust.
Right, and that's the most important part is
Right.
where's your security lie? If you're someone who's dealing with past cheating from someone who had so many friends.
Exactly, that's me, and I can't.
Then you're walking already into it with some insecurities that he can't fix. Like, he can do his best to make you as secure about the situation, but to ask him to give up his female friends that are 100% platonic. I'm not talking about the ones that he slept with. Those are platonic. Don't be with anyone that you don't believe is telling you the truth, though. It's, once again, it's not about him. It's about you. Why are you with someone who you don't trust?
Which is the same thing. If you're following a bunch of Instagram models, you're going to be kind of like, right?
Well, he's lurking, he's lusting. It's an online magazine essentially. And so if that's something that you're not comfortable with, you can't tell him that he has to unfollow. You can't give a man an ultimatum.
Like I said, like I feel like that's cheating, and it's also because it puts it in the mind.
Oh, you think it's cheating?
Well, it's cheating if you're with the guy and he's constantly looking at like booty models
But
and
do
a
you
bunch
think
of other
that
big
even
booty
if
girls.
he's following these girls, but he cannot follow them and still look, and he's still gonna look.
But that's what I'm saying. But following them, I feel like it's always on their feed, right?
So
and
you're saying that
like,
he's seeing it over and over, and it is. It is this constant visual and implant of this imagery. But at the same time, is he now in charge of your social, and he can tell you who he wants you to follow and who he doesn't? Because it's not okay for you to just say, well, unfollow all the pretty chicks on your social. Well, what if he comes at you and he's like, well, unfollow every male on your social? You can't just pick and choose what you get to tell your partner to unfollow.
So at the end of the day, it becomes communication and the trust.
You become obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, you start checking, like, who did he like today?
And that becomes work.
Moderation, like me and my husband, like I follow some guys, he follows some girls, but when I see what he follows, not necessarily is like, those trashy models or whatever. It's more like, celebrities, Kim K or this
like
or
that's
that.
like different,
actresses and another, bikini model, but not to an extent where it's just like all bikini models and like 5 guy friends.
You're more if her dude has access to them, you're like, wait, but he can actually touch these women. He can actually get to
Kim
these women.
K, it's like, okay, follow Kim K. You know what I mean? You can follow her all day long.
Okay, you're
I'm talking about like
that if
girls
he can
that
get in
like
touch with them.
and that he's like friends with. You
I
know,
mean, anybody
again.
can slide through a DM. At the end of the day, before you even commit
DM,
to this
it goes
person,
down in the DM.
you gotta have a social media conversation early on now.
I think
before you
that's what it
commit,
is.
What is your take on social? How important or how much do you prioritize social on
I
a
actually
scale of 1
look
to
for
10?
guys that that are not on social.
Yeah.
I actually prefer like an entrepreneur that's like, I don't have time for that. I have someone that runs it for me. I personally prefer that kind of guy. Is your guy on social media?
He is, but just sports and gossip,
So what if he was following like a bunch of like
and stuff.
that makes sense. And what about if he cancels last minute plans?
There has to be
a good reason.
excuse
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
for
Because there's things that come up.
Yeah,
Right?
It
It
happens.
depends.
But tell us,
is it
what do you think?
consistent behavior of cancellation? showing you? Is he consistently showing up and then he cancels once, or is he
Always
canceling? Because now it's a reflection of his lack of commitment to even like hanging out with you. And
Okay,
so if
so
he's
that-
flaky, you don't want to be with someone who's flaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And don't be afraid to have the conversation of like, my time is valuable. I need you to show up when you say that you're going to show up.
Yeah.
Or you have a backup plan and you go out with the other date that you had lined up for when he flakes.
Yeah, and like you said though, the solid foundation is communication.
Yeah,
and we have to be
absolutely.
okay to have these uncomfortable conversations. Because I know me, it's taken me a lot. I've had to go to counseling and therapy so I can learn to have
healthy,
it. Because
that's
my
good.
family, they'd have problems and then the next day, nadie dice nada. And it's like, everything's okay.
But even for us as women, like we also have to be more flexible with like our time as well, because
Yeah.
he winds up waiting 2 hours for you to do your makeup. Like
I know.
at the same time, he's dealing with flexibility, and so are we. So we have to be forgiving sometimes when he's later. He doesn't.
Gosh, Spicy Marie gave us so many tips. Thank you so much for having me.